Prolific pedophile Jimmy Savile used his power and fame to abuse underage girls and boys long before he worked on TV. The Reckoning, a four-part BBC series based on the Jimmy Savile sex scandal, examined how one of Britain's serial sex offenders took advantage of his status, first as a famous DJ and later as a TV presenter and philanthropist, to carry out his attacks in plain sight. During the first episode, a former acquaintance of Savile said he revealed his dark side when he was a dance hall manager in Leeds in the early 1960s. Before rising to fame on TV, Savile managed the Mecca Locarno Ballroom in Leeds as well as the Mecca-owned Palais Dance Hall in Ilford, Essex and the Plaza Ballroom in Manchester, where his children's discos were popular with local teens. By day he would run dances for kids, by night it would be for older teens. His acquaintance Patrick Skinner, 82, said, "At one point we were standing on a balcony overlooking the dance floor where there were several hundred young girls gyrating to the music. I commented on it being quite a sight and Jimmy replied, I've shafted more than 75% of them." He added, "The hall was full of girls as young as 14. At one point in The Reckoning, Savile, played by Steve Coogan, is seen ordering his henchmen to dish out a brutal beating to a male reveler. In another scene, a local police officer is seen rebuffing the assaulted man's complaint, choosing to side with Jimmy and hinting at the DJ's ability to manipulate the police. One harrowing part of the show tells the story of a young, shy girl called Darian who Savile had pulled out of the crowd at a children's disco and brought to his office. There, he accused her of not having a ticket and was poised to attack before he was interrupted. Heartbreakingly, he bumped into the same girl some time later in Scarborough and assaulted her then. She talks about the scars she carries to this day, telling the makers of the drama she would have danced on his grave if she'd had the chance. Jimmy Savile's rise to fame. Jimmy Savile was born in 1926 and started his career in media as a DJ at Radio Luxembourg in 1958. He first appeared on Tyne's television in 1960. During the 60s, Savile ran nights at dance halls in Leeds and Manchester before moving on to TV to present primetime shows like Top of the Pops and Jim'll Fix It. He stayed at the BBC for the best part of 4 decades, the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s, a job which enabled him to meet underage teens. As well as his TV work, he was known for fundraising and supporting charities and was awarded an OBE in 1971 before being knighted in 1990. Throughout his life he raised an estimated £40 million for charities, but he was hiding a dark secret. How was the Jimmy Savile scandal uncovered? It only emerged in late 2012, a year after Savile's death, that he sexually abused hundreds of people throughout his life, most of them children but some as old as 75. A year after his death, a documentary presented by investigative reporter Mark Williams Thomas featured several women who alleged they had been sexually abused by Savile as teenagers. The ITV documentary led to more victims coming forward with sexual abuse claims. Investigations later found Jimmy Savile abused up to 1,000 boys and girls during his lifetime. In January 2013, Scotland Yard conducted its own investigation labeling Savile a prolific, predatory sex offender after finding 214 criminal offences were committed across 28 police forces, between 1955 and 2009. Then in 2014, NSPCC research for BBC Panorama confirmed at least 500 reports of abuse by Savile. This was followed by a Department of Health investigation which found Savile abused 60 people, including at least 33 patients aged from 5 to 75. What is the BBC's The Reckoning about? The BBC's four-part series The Reckoning is a true crime drama starring Steve Coogan as Jimmy Savile, one of the celebrated TV stars and philanthropists who was also one of the most prolific pedophiles in British history. The Reckoning traces Savile's rise from a working-class background to one of the biggest stars in television, highlighting how he used his fame and stardom to sexually abuse children, crimes which were kept under wraps until after his death in 2011. While The Reckoning is a crime drama, it's based on real events, featuring interviews with Savile's actual victims. Written by Neil McKay and Jeff Pope, the team have been working closely with Savile's victims to ensure their experiences are told with sensitivity. "I don't think this is a subject that should ever be stopped being talked about," one victim Sam was quoted as saying, while Susan added that she just wanted somebody to listen. The Reckoning is available now on BBC iPlayer.
To